Imagine losing the love of your life, only to hear their voice again, years after they were declared dead. This is not the kind of nightmare you wake up from. For Claire, it began with a single voicemail, a message that shattered her fragile sense of closure and left her questioning everything she thought she knew about love, loyalty, and loss. Tonight, we step into her story, a chilling tale of grief, secrets, and the one call no widow should ever receive. Claire and her husband, Michael, were partners in every sense of the word. They weren't rich, but they had each other. Their life was quiet, built on small routines that mattered only to them. Morning coffee, late-night walks, a little spot by the river where they held hands for the very first time. But one night in 2016, everything changed. A catastrophic flood swept through their small town. Bridges collapsed. Entire streets disappeared under rushing water. People screamed for help as emergency crews scrambled to respond. Michael was driving home when the storm hit. His car was found, battered and broken, wedged against a fallen tree. But Michael himself was gone. Search teams combed the river for days. Divers risked their lives in the raging currents. Still, there was no body, no trace, nothing. Eventually, the authorities declared him dead. Claire had to sign the papers. A death certificate with no body, no grave, and no goodbye. Friends tried to comfort her. But how do you comfort a woman whose last memory is waiting at the window for someone who never came home? 3 years passed. Claire learned to live with the silence. The house was empty, but she filled it with photographs and little reminders of Michael. She kept his jacket by the door. She wore his old watch. To the world, she was a widow. But to herself, she was someone waiting for an explanation she'd never get. Then, one night, at exactly 2:13 a.m., her phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. Half asleep, she let it go to voicemail. The next morning, she pressed play, and what she heard froze her blood. The voice was calm, deliberate, and unmistakable. "Meet me where we first held hands." Michael's voice, clear as day. Claire dropped the phone. Her chest tightened. Was this a dream? A recording? Some cruel prank? But no prankster would know their secret place. The little spot by the river, the place only the two of them had shared. At first, Claire tried to dismiss it. Maybe someone had spliced an old video. Maybe technology was playing tricks. But her mind couldn't let it go. She replayed the voicemail dozens of times. Every pause, every breath, it was him. Claire started digging. She checked Michael's old accounts, long frozen after his death. To her shock, there were recent bank withdrawals, small, careful amounts, always from towns just far enough away to avoid suspicion. She searched public records, and then came the CCTV footage. A blurred figure at a gas station 2 states over. The camera was old, the image grainy. But the way he walked, the slope of his shoulders, it was Michael. Suddenly, Claire's grief turned into obsession. She created a wall in her living room. Maps, bank records, photographs connected with red string. She hardly slept. The voicemail had unlocked something she couldn't close. If Michael was alive, why had he abandoned her? After weeks of chasing shadows, Claire finally traced the number. It led her to a quiet town, hours away from where she lived. She went there, trembling, unsure if she wanted answers or closure. And then, as she saw him, Michael, older, thinner, with a new haircut and a different name. But it was him, alive, breathing, laughing with strangers as though the past had never existed. Claire's knees went weak. She wanted to run to him, to demand answers. But instead, she stayed hidden in the shadows, watching. Why had he left her to mourn a ghost? Why the voicemail? Why now? The truth, she realized, might never come. Some said he had debts. Others whispered about witness protection. Maybe he was hiding from enemies Claire never knew he had. All she knew was this. Michael had chosen to disappear. And worse, he had chosen to let her suffer. Claire drove back home in silence. She deleted the voicemail, but she could never erase the sound of his voice. She stood by the river where they first held hands, the place that was once sacred. This time, she stood alone. She faced an impossible choice: tell the world the truth and drag Michael's new life into the light, or bury the secret and let the world believe he was gone forever. In the end, Claire chose silence. Some ghosts are not meant to return, and some wounds never heal. And so, she carried the secret with her. A widow, not just to the world, but to herself. This story is fictional, though inspired by real cases of missing persons and false identities. So I'll ask you, if someone you loved, someone you buried in your heart, suddenly called you years later, would you answer? Thanks for watching. Remember to always hit the subscription button for more amazing contents. Trendify channel is here for you.